Coming up on the Faceoff, a recap of some of the trades that went down in the 11th hour last week, a major meltdown in Denver, and some personal experiences at some road venues. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday edition of the Faceoff, USC's only weekly radio hockey show. Once again, I'm your host, Graham Jenkins. Later on in the show, I will discuss how the Stars have made what appears to be a dramatic turnaround, and I will discuss my thoughts on team Twitter accounts like the LA Kings. But let's begin this show by discussing what happened in the 11th hour after I had finished my show last week at the trade deadline. Well, right before I closed my show last week, I said that there might be some big trades that happen in the 11th hour, because they usually do, between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. Pacific. And since I couldn't be on the air to announce those trades, there really wasn't much I could do besides sit and wait, like the rest of you guys. Well, there were not one, not two, but three pretty big trades that happened in that last hour, and one team emerged as a surprising buyer. The first blockbuster trade that went down was when the New York Rangers traded away struggling scorer Marion Gaborik to the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for forwards Derek Dorsett and Derek Brassard, defenseman John Moore, and a 2013 sixth-round pick. Gaborik had been in John Tortorella's doghouse in New York leading up to the trade, as Tortorella demoted him to the fourth line with Taylor Pide and Chris Newberry. After scoring 76 points in 82 games last season, which included 41 goals, Gaborik scored 9 goals and 10 assists in 35 games with the Rangers, which put him at a .54 point per game pace when he produced at a 9.92 point per game pace last season. So it's been a tough year for Gaborik, to say the least. The Blue Jackets will take on a $7.5 million cap hit by acquiring Gaborik, but they also shed nearly $5.8 million of cap hits by trading away Brassard, Dorsett, and Moore. Gaborik has one more year left on his contract, and he joins his former New York Ranger teammates Artem Anisimov, Brandon Dubinsky, and Tim Erickson, who came over from last summer's Rick Nash trade. Basically, the Blue Jackets and Rangers swap superstars and supporting casts, which is amusingly odd. In 3 games with the Columbus Blue Jackets, Gaborik has scored a goal and 2 assists. For the Rangers, Dorsett is injured with the broken collarbone he sustained on March 8th against the Vancouver Canucks and will be out for the remainder of the season. He has 2 years left on his contract and will make $1.4 million next season and $2 million in 2014-2015. Dorsett leaves the Blue Jackets after 5 seasons, playing 280 games, scoring 27 goals and 38 assists, while racking up 727 penalty minutes, including 235 last season. Derek Brassard has 1 year left on his contract and will earn $3.7 million next season. In 309 games with the Blue Jackets, he scored 58 goals and 111 assists, and in 4 games with the Rangers, he has a goal and 3 assists so far. John Moore was Columbus's first-round pick in 2009, and he has 1 more year left on his entry-level contract and will be a restricted free agent after next season should the Rangers make a qualifying offer to him. In 86 games with Columbus, Moore scored 2 goals and 6 assists and already has a goal and assist in 4 games with the Rangers. Since the trade, the Blue Jackets are 2-2, and the Rangers are 2-1-1. Right after that trade, the next big trade that happened was when the Buffalo Sabres traded away captain Jason Pominville and a 2014 fourth-round pick to the Minnesota Wild in exchange for goaltender Matt Hackett, forward Johan Larsson, a 2013 first-round pick, and a 2014 second-round pick. Minnesota gave up a lot to get Jason Pominville. Pominville was part of a Sabres fire sale, as Buffalo traded away Robin Regehr to the Los Angeles Kings before then, and they also traded away Jordan Leopold to the St. Louis Blues. Pominville played 578 games with the Sabres, scoring 185 goals and 271 assists. He scored 10 goals this season as well as 15 assists in 37 games with Buffalo, and he already has a goal and an assist in 2 games with Minnesota. He has 1 more year left on his contract and will make $5.5 million next season. For the Sabres, they are clearly rebuilding. The goaltender they get in this trade, Matt Hackett, was drafted by the Wild in 2009, 77th overall in the 3rd round. He has played 13 games in the NHL in his career, But in the one game he played this season, he surrendered 5 goals to the Dallas Stars in a 5-3 loss on March 29th. In his brief NHL career, he is 3-7-0 and sports a career .914 save percentage and a .263 goals against average. He spent most of the season with the AHL's Houston Aeros, playing 43 games for them. He sported a .907 save percentage and a .266 goals against average this season with the Aeros, posting a 19-20-3 record. He is now currently with the AHL's Rochester Americans, the AHL affiliate for the Buffalo Sabres, and he won his first game with them, making 39 saves on 41 shots. The forward prospect the Sabres get, Johan Larsson, was drafted 56th overall in the second round in 2010 by the Wild. He began his first year in the AHL with the Aeros, playing 62 games with them and scoring 15 goals and 22 assists. He made his NHL debut on February 17th with the Wild. In 3 games with the Rochester Americans, he has a goal and 2 assists. On top of acquiring Minnesota's 2013 first-round pick and 2014 second-round pick, the Sabres will also have the Blues' 2013 second-round pick and their conditional 2013 fifth-round pick from the Jordan Leopold trade, and they will also have the Kings' 2014 and 2015 second-round picks from the Robin Regehr trade. With all of these trades, Sabres general manager Darcy Regehr has lit up on draft picks for the Sabres over the next 3 years. Since this trade, Minnesota has gone 1-3 and Buffalo has gone 2-1. That was not the last big trade that happened in the day. Everybody was waiting for this trade to go through because it was after the deadline, and everybody connected to Twitter and social media was wondering what's going on with the Capitals because they were silent for a very long time after 12 o'clock Pacific, which everybody speculated that they must have traded somebody. Well, they did. The big buzzer beater that wasn't finalized until after the 12 o'clock deadline, or it wasn't announced, I should say, was a trade between the Washington Capitals and the Nashville Predators that saw Nashville right-winger Martin Erat and center prospect Michael Latta go to the Capitals in exchange for Philip Forsberg, who was Washington's 11th overall pick in the 2012 draft. Erat played 723 games with the Nashville Predators, scoring 163 goals and 318 assists. In 2013 with the Predators, he played 36 games, scored 4 goals, and tallied 17 assists. He has 2 years left on his contract. He will make $3.75 million in 2013-2014 and $2.25 million in 2014-2015. Michael Latta with Milwaukee in the AHL has played 67 games with them this season, scoring 9 goals and 2 assists, but racking up 184 penalty minutes. And now with the Hershey Bears, he's played 3 games with them, scoring no goals, no assists, but a fighting major to his name. He was the 72nd overall pick by the Nashville Predators in 2009. Now, as I mentioned earlier with Philip Forsberg, he was the 11th overall pick in the 2012 draft by the Washington Capitals. A little bit more on him. He is in Sweden right now. He's played 43 games with Leksands IF, which is a Swedish league, and he has scored 8 goals and 9 assists in 17 points. This is actually stats from last year. There are no stats that are available to me to tell me what he has done this season. So those were the 3 biggest trades that happened after my show ended last week. Now, I wanted to update you on that because it was something that I said I would do, and now that I have. And now I will take a break, and then coming up after the break, though, probably the biggest media meltdown that has happened with a player in the specifically with the Colorado Avalanche. You were listening to KXSC on the air, always at 1560 AM, on the web at kxsc.org, and on your smartphone on the TuneIn radio app. We will be right back.